Okay, and now for finally the last part of our lesson for today. It's called parasitic draw. All right, parasitic draw is the small amount of current being pulled out of a battery by computers and electronic devices and things like that. It's very low, usually 25 milliamps to 120 milliamps. The spec is given by the vehicle, the manufacturer, and you can see here it talks about 25 milliamps. That's 0.025, right? 120 milliamps is 0.120. But in the norm, it's generally around 0.2. 0.02. The spec can be found in all data under electrical specs, and then we come down to battery, and we look at parasitic draw, and we see 25 milliamps. Right? So it talks about if the battery has a reserve capacity, divide it by 4. And it says that it should not be above that number. But that's not usually very available on batteries. So 25 milliamps is what you're looking for. In the lab, you're going to find these connectors on cars. What you're going to do is you're measuring amperage. All right, so you're going to set this up for amps, not milliamps, amps. You're going to connect one lead to this side and one lead to this side. And then you're going to open up and rotate the dial. Right? That's going to take all the current and put it through the meter without disconnecting the battery. The reason why that's the best plan is because a lot of times a fuel pump relay or something will get stuck. As soon as you disconnect the battery, you depower it and the problem goes away. So by doing it this way, you catch it still in the act. Now, what's the protection level of an amp meter in a DVOM? Right? It's 10 amps. So we never, ever start the car. We don't turn the key on. We're looking for this parasitic draw. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the meter, we're going to set it up, we're going to turn that dial, and we're going to watch. What I always say is you open the car door and close the car door. If the dome light comes on, you're hooked up properly. If you hooked it up backwards, on our meters, it's going to show a negative sign. On other meters, it might not work. So the red lead goes to the most positive side, and the black lead goes to the most negative. This is always done on the negative side of the battery, just like you would disconnect the battery from that side. Right? So we're going to do this on my truck. Now, when we do this on my truck, you're going to see there's some issues there. When I did this, found that the level was higher than it should. I also found a melted fuse in my fuse box. And finally, I show you the steps of how to deal with this when you do have a problem like this. The process on the lab is you remove the fuse for the ECM, and you can tell by the last exercise the ECM has several fuses that power it up, right? So stay tuned, and you're going to see the videos next.